It's the way Singapore wakes up.
Wake up,
Glenn, Angel, and the Flying Dutchman.
wake up in the morning feeling like
Kiss 92's Big Show.
Good morning, Singapore, and welcome to The Big Show. Our guests for this morning are from the Cat Welfare Society. We have the president of the board, Thenuga Vijakumar, as well as board member Theresa Go. Good morning, ladies.
Morning.
Good morning. And
That's
That's your
what
cat.
we'll be doing this
Yes,
morning.
well,
Talking
that's
about
that's what
cats.
he'll be doing this morning. All the
I like
sound
doing
effects.
that. Oh, my wife just loves it when I do that.
Oh, yeah?
She's
She
always
loves cats,
asking me to
right?
meow for her.
Oh,
Yeah.
well.
She's a cat lover, but she's allergic to cats.
Too much information right now,
Yeah.
Glenn.
Why?
Yeah. Why are you
It's just-
meowing for her?
She'll just go, and she calls me meow as well at home.
Oh, okay.
Funny, right?
Yeah.
And we have a dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about Glenn Ong. So
Yes,
it's
no, we're not.
I was
just
talking about
one
me.
day.
I was
Yeah,
talking
just
about my wife.
No, just one day. Okay. All right. So we're talking about cats, and cats are banned from HDB flats. Why?
Well, for now they are.
Okay. That's what you're trying to advocate, right? Change that law.
Yes. So, to the best of our knowledge, this has been an inherited law that cats are banned in HDBs for several reasons are cited on the HDB website, including that they are very difficult to contain within homes, that there's a lot of fur flying everywhere. And I think the general thrust of it is that they can cause disamenities to the neighbors. And that's a valid point, right? Because there are irresponsible owners who do contribute to causing disamenities. They let their cats roam, the cats defecate in front of someone else's house. That's always going to be an issue. But what we have seen is a far more mature society that understands that cats can be kept indoors. They can be provided sufficient stimulation. They can be neutered. They will not caterwaul. And hygiene is, for the human
Right.
being to maintain. So all of those sort of the archaic reasons have been invalidated. Is that a word?
Yeah.
So they no longer hold water. And that's why we're seeing, I think, a massive paradigm shift and mindset shift to allowing cats in HDBs. So we've seen AVS take some very positive steps by running a public consultation.
Okay.
And CWS has also run its own surveys, and we see that really there's a huge majority in Singapore that has got a neutral stance or is very supportive actually of overturning this ban.
Okay.
So what do we do with errant owners then? Because there will be, right?
Well, our stand is that you should penalize them,
Right.
Because they're causing issues for their neighbors. At the end of the day, we share a community, right? We share a space. It's Singapore. There is nowhere in Singapore that there isn't a cat. So if a cat owner is responsible, you immediately change a naysayer's mind because you're showing that it can be done. You can coexist and harmoniously in a clean manner. There's no disamenity caused there.
Absolutely.
How many cats do we have in Singapore right now? I'm sure there's a number, right?
What?
As in what? Community
I mean,
cat?
you
Well,
know, you
come
see
on.
them everywhere.
Yeah.
right?
So community cats out there. How many are there?
There is no census actually. There was an estimated figure which was 60,000. I don't know whether that holds true anymore.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can also, bring up something that happened a couple of weeks ago that we saw online about the abuse
Of cats.
of cats.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that on the Big Show TV. You can join us on YouTube and Facebook at /Kiss92FM.
All right. It's Wednesday, the 24th of May.
Kiss 92 Day Check brought to you by Gain City's Maximum.
So yeah, that awful video that got caught on camera about this teenager
Abusing.
Humping the cat.
humping it. Yeah, I was trying to find a word for
Word
it,
for
but
it,
humping
yeah.
a cat.
Well, it's very unfortunate that that cat happened to become his victim. I don't know the status of that case right now. It is with AVS for investigation to the best of my knowledge. I think for that case, it's an unfortunate situation, right? Because the cat happened to be outside of the house, and there are cats in the community who become quite easy prey, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Obviously, there might be various reasons for why that individual acted in that particular manner. It's I think the first case that we've heard of that
Right.
Ever,
nature.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's just embarrassing. I think.
But cats
That's a
have
sick
always,
boy.
yeah, cats have always been the target. They've been thrown over.
They've been thrown out of buildings, all kinds of things.
I remember a video once of somebody trying to give it a cigarette.
Oh,
A
yes.
smoking cat. There was
Yeah.
situations like that. So these are all community cats, right? Or are they owned by individuals?
I think most of the cases have involved community cats.
Okay.
I believe the one with the teenager who tried to hump the cat, I think that was actually an owned cat that had been allowed to roam.
Oh, right.
I think
Okay.
The video was
Yeah.
posted by the owner.
Oh, was by the owner itself,
Right.
right? Okay.
Seeking like justice and stuff.
Justice.
Oh.
Yeah,
Right.
but you know,
Poor
I
cat.
don't understand it. We've seen so many beaten cats. We've seen so many abused cats in Singapore. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
And I wonder, and because cats, when they become used to humans, they do tend to come to you, you know,
Regularly.
because humans feed them.
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
and then they end up getting abused.
as
It's
many
awful.
bad stories that there are also good stories of people
course.
trying
Of course.
to. I remember reading one of this woman who made little homes for the community cats. Like first she started, I think, with a plain box. Then she saw that it was quite popular with the community cats. She started decorating the boxes like little houses and stuff, and putting a real effort into giving them a home almost.
Yep.
Is that a good thing to do, or should they be left to fend for themselves because they are natural community cats? Their instincts are a little different, right?
I think, and weigh in whenever. I think for the community cats, it's very different from what we experienced or saw maybe even 10 years ago. So before, the cats were sort of, I think, a mix of cats that lived within a community that had settled. And because there was a larger unsterilized population of cats, there was also a certain level of straying.
Yeah.
So this concept of them being transient was much more enforced. Now, what you see is that people have opened up and shared their communal spaces with the cats. The cats are truly a part of that community.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether they've lost their instinct for anything, but they are very much cared for, right? So having this home sort of a concept out in a communal space, I think that's actually like one of the most impressive things about the Singapore community.
Right.
That we've contributed in a way that the public understands and accepts that, hey, this is a shared space. So I think it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's more about ensuring things like, maintaining the space for example.
Right.
So what's been the problem? Because I'm sure you guys have spoken to, the powers that be. And what's the reason they keep bringing up with regard to allowing cats in HDB? Why are
To
they so
disallowing
resistant?
cats.
Yeah.
I think they've fallen back on that position, right? The invalid position, basically. And I think there is, to a certain extent, when there is an existing position, there needs to be a clear indication of what the public truly wants and feels. And that's why the whole process has started off with a public consultation that covers not just pet cats, it also covers community cats. It's all Singapore cats, basically. And I think they're looking at the various reasons and they're trying to deal with that. So I understand that they are doing focus group discussions, and then we'll see how this progresses, right? But on CWS's side, we also wanted to understand how mindsets have changed. So when we ran the survey over the course of last year, we went door to door and we just spoke to everybody. So whether they were interested in cats, whether they knew anything about cats or not, we had like a clear indication of a very randomized population. And we understood that actually a lot of people really don't care.
Can't be bothered, yeah.
Because it doesn't affect their daily lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
And many people were quite surprised when we told them that there was a ban, and how did they feel about it? They're like, oh, but like dog is allowed. Then
Yeah,
how come
exactly.
the cat
Yeah.
cannot?
Yeah.
So you have, I think, a certain level of confusion within the public itself that there are different standards for different pet/companion animals. And I think the one person who I spoke to who was vehemently against it was just like, I hate cats and I do not want them in HDBs. So I had to gently remind her that you are not obligated to adopt a cat if you don't like cats.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that other people should not be allowed to have a pet cat responsibly.
For sure, yeah.
And then she seemed a bit confused.
Okay. Just one in many.
Can't have cats if I don't want cats. Like
Yeah,
exactly.
How can other
Yeah.
people have them,
Yeah.
right?
That's so selfish.
So, are the cats in the community neutered? They are neutered.
By and
Okay.
large, they are,
By
yes.
and large, they are.
Is there a program, or is it just individuals who are helping out?
There is a program for pet cats and community cats. So we have the sterilization program, and it's been in effect for
years.
Yeah.
So there's two, as Theresa was saying. There is the stray cat sterilization program, which really should be called the community cat sterilization program. That deals with the cats in the community.
Right.
Which, if you've noticed, they're pretty much all sterilized. We only get new cats when unfortunately people relocate or abandon them.
Right. Okay.
And we also help pet cat owners. So stray cat sterilization program came back in force in 2018, and the pet cat sterilization program that CWS runs came in November 2020.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
for like the families who need a bit of financial help. Yeah.
Okay. So what does one do when they come across a community cat? Maybe we can ask this on air. A community cat or a box of kittens, or a cat that's been abandoned. We'd like to find out what they need to do, because there's the Cat Welfare Society, there's AVS, there's Acres. Like, who do they call? So we'll ask you that when we go on air.
All right.
It may not be the answer that you're expecting.
Sorry?
May not be the answer you're expecting.
That's okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
Oh, these times are hard. Yeah, they're making us crazy. Don't give up on me, baby.
Kiss 92 traffic.
On the PIE towards Tuas before Jalan Baha, avoid the right lane. An accident has been reported. Also in the CTE tunnel towards the AYE. This is after the Bukit Timah Road exit. Also avoid lane 1, another accident. Wherever you are today, stay safe.
Good morning and welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guests for this morning are from the Cat Welfare Society, Thenuga Vijakumar, who's the president of the board, as well as Theresa Goh, who's a board member there as well. Theresa Goh, of course, is one of our heroes. She has won so many gold medals, right? I don't know where to start. And of
Start
course,
with the gold.
she represented Singapore at the Paralympics in Rio in 2016 as well.
Wow,
Bronze
impressive.
medal for you there. And then I'm just looking at all the other gold medals that Theresa has won. ASEAN Para Games, the British Paralympic Trials, the Danish Open.
You're gonna run out.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Look at that.
But thank you for making Singapore so proud.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very,
absolutely.
very much. We're very proud of you, Theresa. And we're very proud of both you, Thenuga, as well as Theresa, for doing what you do for the Cat Welfare Society. Because I think it's very, very important that we all open up. And, let's stop hating on cats.
Right.
There's so many people, who,
Yeah.
I mean, we had a conversation just now. They don't have a proper reason
Yeah.
They just don't like
for the
cats.
things that they do and they say, and they just very easily just go like, okay, I just don't like cats.
Yeah, I'm not a cat
Yeah.
person. Most people, I'm not
I
a
think
cat
that's
person.
the most selfish thing
It
ever.
is. It is. I think it is.
Yeah. So what does the Cat Welfare Society do? I mean, what are you guys in charge of? Because, first thing you say when you think animals, people obviously think of the SPCA and then the AVS and then cat. So what does the Cat Welfare Society do? What are you responsible for?
Well, first of all, we're not a shelter.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I think we're definitely in charge of care and legislation of of cats in Singapore.
So we have essentially 4 sort of broad areas of work. We deal with sterilizations in Singapore to help the community cats and the pet cats. We have the engagement work that we do, which is where we go and we humanely resolve the feedback in respect of cats. And, something like 60% of the complaints that we get has to do with irresponsible pet owners. So to that end, we also educate and advocate, as Theresa was mentioning, for two sort of broad areas: responsible cat ownership and responsible community cat caregiving. And the ancillary stuff like dealing with abuse, whether the penalties are stiff enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we would not call you if we found a stray cat. Community cat.
You can call us. Well, you can email us because we don't have a hotline.
Okay.
You can email us about sterilization for that cat,
Right.
and we can guide you as to how you could assist that cat further.
Okay.
Okay, give you an instance. My daughter got a call from condo security and said there's a mother with 3 kittens. Management has told me to get rid of them. They've just said, take them outside the gate, dump them on the side of the road. Security knows my daughter's a cat lover. So he says, can you help? So she's taken the whole lot into her house. Is that the right thing to do?
Well, I don't think there's a right answer to that question. If your daughter has the capacity to help, yes. But I think what she needs to know and what everyone needs to know before they help a cat is kind of the extent of the responsibility, right? If you have, let's say, a mother and kittens in your example, when you take them in, you need to provide, let's say, a safe space away from any other animals she may have.
Including cats.
Including
other
entirely
cats.
possible because, territorial issues and also the young, right? They get quite protective.
Okay.
So you foster them. So that's a fostering capacity. Then when the kittens are old enough, she may want to rehome them.
That's right.
Yeah. So CWS would have a resource for that, the Public Adoption Board.
Okay.
So anybody can use that. And then for the mom, if she needs to spay the mom, she can do so at a private cost or she can go through the CWS program. And then she can rehome or if condo management release the cat back. So the sterilization program is basically trap, neuter, return, manage. But unfortunately, we have too much experience with condo management that reacts in a very very short-sighted way, very knee-jerk, kind of like, I don't want to see this, let's remove
Let's
it.
just put it outside,
which is dump it on the street.
Quite silly, isn't it? Because, other cats will just move in. It's called a vacuum effect.
So there are no rules in not HDBs. Obviously, we know at the moment you aren't allowed cats, but condos there are no rules against that, are there?
So it depends on each condo because they have their own bylaws.
Got it. Okay.
What's very interesting with my daughter was the mother was a year old, right? She had these 3 kittens. She brought the cats home, and it was almost instant. She has 3 cats of her own. And it was almost instant how these 3 cats adopted these kittens.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They just took to them straight away. It's amazing. So now it's this massive family of cats in our house. Absolutely crazy.
Okay, let's continue this conversation on The Big Show TV. It is 8:16.
Kiss 92 time check brought to you by Putian. Fresh, crisp.
So if we find any cats, if we find a box of cats, we would not call you first.
But
we could.
They shouldn't take these kittens to the Cat Welfare Society, right?
There's nowhere.
There's no shelter. It's not
So
a
what your
shelter.
daughter should do right now is perhaps maybe get in touch with you
Email,
guys.
yeah.
And then, unless she wants to keep
right
the
now,
kittens.
right now the kittens are about 4 weeks. So she's trying to figure out at what point she's going to rehouse these kittens.
So where would you take them? SPCA?
Actually, it's probably best if she can rehome them on her own.
Yeah.
And we'd be very happy to guide with that.
Okay,
Because,
okay.
Yeah.
look, the reality is any shelter in Singapore is choke full.
Full.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's,
So
Yeah, you guys
not
better
just-
help the kittens, no? Because if not, his daughter's cat is going to eat them.
Oh, no.
His
Just
daughter's
say
cat
they're
is a Maine Coon.
Oh, no, it's not Chloe. It's not Chloe. This is
So
another one.
Oh, I see.
what happens to the cats if they go to somewhere like a shelter that's overcrowded? Do they get culled?
No, I think with a shelter that's overcrowded, shelters will have to decline.
Just decline them, right?
at
Okay.
entry
Okay.
Because it's not fair,
Yeah.
right? It's not right. What is useful is that if everyone sort of pulled together and used their resources to try to help, even if you help one animal,
Yeah.
that's a heck ton more animals helped. So
Yeah, I think it's about sharing resources, right? We all have different capacities, whether we have more space in the house, we have a bit more money, we know more people. I think there's always ways to deal with it or to manage this situation, whether it's going to different organizations, but that it's probably going to be full. There's an influx, there's too many abandonment cases, and just too much for one person to deal with or one organization to deal with or group to deal with. So just thinking about being able to share the load, I think is super helpful.
Yeah, so I think for CWS, because we don't run a shelter, what we've undertaken is to try to educate as many people as possible about how they plug into the system to help the cats, right? And it's not just cats, it's any animals. Anyone who understands how cats coexist with other people will also know to show some sort of empathy or care towards, let's say, wildlife. At least don't, butcher wildlife.
Yeah.
So it's just about
Being aware.
being more sensitized.
Educated, yeah. Is there a list that you guys have of foster cat parents that would look after these community cats if they need to be rehomed, or kittens that were found abandoned, whatever it is.
I've got a good friend, Deborah Ong,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
who's in the studio right now.
who plugs into the system in her community and has actually helped with the neutering of cats, which is how we became friends. And with rehoming kittens if there are any. She fosters regularly. Every individual has a capacity to help, right? It's just about figuring out what it is. If it's not time, it might be $10 a month.
Right. Okay.
You can donate that to an organization of your choice. You can help the auntie downstairs by buying half a carton of food.
yeah.
Everybody has that ability. Or even if you can educate yourself on the process and tell the next person and the next person and the next person.
It's a domino effect, yeah.
That's why we see this mindset change in Singapore, right? Like over 10 years ago, when we were volunteering, and when we became sort of cat owners and all of these things, we realized that there wasn't very much knowledge about these sort of issues. We were sort of new when we said, hey, actually you can also help. And then people were like, what?
Okay.
We don't just ask somebody else. Like, no.
what website can people go to find out more? Your website?
Yeah,
And what's the address?
It's catwelfare.org. And if you look under the FAQs, I think pretty much every question we've been asked is there, and the response is there. So you can learn how to do something. People who write into us, we do try to guide them as much as possible. But I think there is less of a, why can't you just take over this?
Why can't someone else do it?
Yeah, why can't someone else do it? And more people are like, oh, okay, let me see what I can do.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's been very encouraging to us.
Okay, that's great. That's great.
I mean, for those of you who are watching us on the Big Show TV right now, if you've got any questions for Thenuga or Theresa, you can get in touch with us right now. I think one of the concerns, I spoke to someone once, they were a bit concerned about the number of cats that some people may want to keep, because we hear stories of people keeping like 10 cats,
15 cats.
15
yeah.
cats.
Yeah.
That might be a bit too much in a small space like an HDB. So would you be open to putting a limit
A
to the
cap on
number
it.
of cats someone can keep?
Like, I think there should be per square footage how many cats should be allowed in, right? Otherwise, it just becomes
I
overcrowded.
mean, similarly, I feel like maybe the public would be concerned if someone were to be keeping 8 dogs,
8 dogs.
Yeah,
in
for
the
sure.
house.
Yeah.
So it's not just a cat
Yeah.
issue; it's
Animal issue.
it's an
animal
animal
issue.
issue.
Yeah.
It's a welfare issue.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely something that CWS is pushing for. Like, one of the measures is what is it, like
Like a
4 or
permit
more?
system.
Yeah, 4. If you have 4 or more cats, you have a different.
Sort of a different level of okay, so
Like-
the concept is this. One, when we did our surveys, we found that 85% of the cat owners that we spoke to had between 1 to 3 cats.
Okay.
And further, I think 13 or 14% had 4 to 6, and then there was less than 1% basically who had more than 6.
Okay.
And with the people who had larger numbers, there were also people who fostered cats.
Yes.
So much
Right,
like what
right.
your daughter
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
right? So her actual number might be 3, but now she's at like 7.
It's temporary.
It's
So-
temporary.
Yeah, so exactly. So it's temporary. So we have this concept where we said, well, how about you allow for up to 3 cats in the home? And for new owners who want to take on 4, 5, or 6, they apply for a permit to have more. And there is a qualitative assessment, not just a quantitative assessment there, where maybe they have to discuss with, an AWG or a AVS officer or any individual there to say, hey, look, do you understand the additional financial commitment that you need to put into place? Have that check in, right?
Guidelines
Because it's
and
not
stuff.
meant to be some sort of a off the cuff decision that
Yeah.
I'm going to 4 or 5.
I think that can also kind of address the fear that a lot of people have that once you legislate it, like, people are just gonna like keep bringing in cats, and you're gonna have too many cats in a household,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
This can help to kind of address that issue.
I say so be it. I'm so tired of this. I mean, look, we're thinking so far forward. You want everything to be perfect. I feel like, that perfection is never going to be met. So why are we working towards this perfect, this absolutely perfect society.
Yeah.
Let's live a little.
Yeah, take
what I
some
mean?
risks. Yeah. Do you have, when someone wants to adopt a child, for example, they have to go through rigorous home study reports. Find out if the home is conducive for the child and all that. Does the same thing happen with your cat welfare society? Because I see on your page you have an adoption list where people can go and sort of choose a cat and all that. Do you suss them out?
Yes, definitely. I think it's important to make sure that a cat goes to a good home, a safe home. So we do house visits.
Okay.
Good,
We
okay.
assess the
Fosters.
individuals. Sorry.
The fosters who use the public board.
Yes.
Right, okay.
do house visits and make sure that the house is ready. It's not in a bad condition or it's hygienic. It's meshed up. Make sure
Okay.
that when the cat does move in, it's not going to be able to run out or,
Yeah.
or,
Hold
or
on.
be unsafe.
Let's go back on the radio. Stand by.
Kiss 92 traffic.
Okay, a couple of situations to look out for at the junction of Bishan Street 22, Marymount Road, and Singming Avenue. If you know the area, the traffic lights have blacked out there, so look out for that. And on the PIE towards Changi Airport after the BKE, a broken down vehicle has been spotted. Wherever you are, stay safe.
Good morning and welcome back to the Big Show and the Big Show TV. Our guests for this morning are from the Cat Welfare Society, Thenuga Vijakumar, the president of the board, as well as Theresa Go, a board member with the Cat Welfare Society.
Guys, I know you do a lot of work. You go house to house. You've got an adoption platform, stuff like that. Are you doing anything with kids? The reason why I ask this is I believe that all of this stems from a very young age. You've got to get them used to this sort of thing.
Yes, so one of the things that we are actually currently raising funds for, we're trying to create an education program, and we're focused on the preschool and the lower primary kids because we think, that's the easiest way for us to get into the minds early. So the main thrust of what we're doing is we're working on how children should sort of approach and interact with community animals because that's going to be the greatest interaction platform there,
Yeah.
right? So the preschool stuff, we have like little workshops in mind, and we've created like a way to sort of present and have them participate in and learn, like if the cat's body is arched, do you approach?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
all-
the
it's all-
signs.
Yeah, it's all from a young age, right?
Yeah.
Education. And once you start them young, they understand that cats are part of the community. They understand how to handle a cat, what not to do, signs like Thenuga mentioned, and just getting them. I think it's also about normalization also and familiarity, right? And getting to understand that cats are not like. Right now, they seem to be like the bad cat, the bad animal.
Yeah.
Why though?
The
Why
bad
do
pet.
people have that impression?
I have no
Actually,
idea.
I think it's got to do with parents sort of vilifying things.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
So if and I think the best way to educate a child sometimes is for another child to do it. So you teach one child, and that the moment that child says like, "Hey, stop stomping your foot around a community animal" to their friend, that's far stronger than any organization or authority or even a parent saying it because it's a peer. And that's the kind of snowball level of education that we need to achieve, right? We need enough children out there vocal enough to stop their friends from misbehaving.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. So why then are there so many cats that get chucked out after being adopted? You do all these rigorous tests, see if the home is ready, see if the parent is ready, the future parent is ready. And then after a while, I know during certain years, like the year of the tiger, because that's the closest thing you can get, right? Year of the rabbit, the same thing happened. A lot of people started adopting rabbits and chucking them out after. So why does that happen, even though all those checks have been put in place?
Okay, I think that the cats that have been adopted through the rehomers who do the checks, those are not the cats that are abandoned.
It's the purchased one.
Yeah, so in our experience, the cats that get dumped unceremoniously were either sort of like in a backyard fashion adopted, like friend,
All right,
never
right.
sterilized cat, then got a million kittens, that sort of a case. Or the people who just did not neuter the cats in their homes, and then there was an overpopulation.
Wow.
So, and sometimes these guys would have tried to like sell a kitten, which is disgusting.
Yeah.
But so you have the non-adoption modes where there is an overpopulation within the house and they get chucked.
Right. Okay. Got
So
it. Okay.
Okay, let's continue this conversation on The Big Show TV. It is Wednesday, the 24th of May.
Kiss 92 Day Check brought to you by Gain City's maximum save.
Sorry. Don't worry. You don't worry about the red card.
Yeah, don't worry about it. That's for me.
That's for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if anyone wants to get in touch with you guys, it's info@catwelfare.org. What does it take to be a cat parent?
I don't think that it takes too much, you know. I became a cat parent, I think, more than 10 years ago. I had my first cat. And at that time, we didn't know too much about cat welfare either. All we knew is we wanted to create a space for our cat, a safe environment, a cat-safe environment, right? This cat followed us home from the lift lobby, the ground floor, all the way up to the 8th floor, and chose us basically. You know, so from that moment, and my parents were always dog people.
Yeah.
They were converts. Now my parents have 4 cats.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So your family was always you had pet dogs growing up?
I mean, no. My mom had pet dogs, and I think it's just like a more common thing that we used to be used to dogs, or we assumed that we were dog people until we had cats, you know. So I think
now you're animal people.
now we're now my parents still love dogs, don't worry.
Of course, yeah.
but we have more cats. So I think it's now we have I think my sister has 2 cats, I have 2, my parents have 3.
Wow.
You know, so it's just it becomes the fact that you want to care for these
Animals.
and they become part of your family, you know.
Right. What's beautiful sometimes is when I see cats and dogs.
Yeah, I've
getting
always
along.
wanted to have like a kitten and a puppy,
My,
you know.
my friend just adopted a kitten with 2 golden retrievers.
Yeah?
And it is the cutest
The
thing.
golden retrievers are puppies as well, or grown?
big
Oh,
dogs,
really?
yeah.
They're being bullied.
By
Squarely
the cat?
bullied
By the cat? Oh
for
my
sure.
gosh.
Their tails are basically gigantic toys for them.
But not all dogs and cats would get along, right? I mean, it's something. Would you recommend them growing up together? But this one didn't sound like they grew up together. It was introduced as a newcomer, right?
Yeah, I think every permutation exists. It's really about the personality of the animals and the introduction and integration methods. So in this case, I mean, the kitten was just fearless. He sussed them out for a day, and then the dogs were like, "Oh my God, we're being judged." And then everybody became friends. He basically launched himself in front of the dogs to steal their food.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it worked out. But
Wow.
we've also seen, sometimes when you introduce a new cat into a household with cats, sometimes that integration doesn't work as well. So it happens, right? What is important there is that everybody understands that there must be some sort of a trial period. There must be commitment to integration. You don't sort of just chuck 2 animals together and expect them to get along. That rarely actually works.
It's like a bonding period. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like any people getting along, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So when do you guys think it'll be legal to keep cats in HDB?
Oh, I think quite soon, because I think there is cognizance of the fact that if we want to promote responsible cat ownership and ensure no disamenities to neighbors, we need a set of clear guidelines, regulations in place so everyone knows the expectations of them. And the flip of that is that there needs to be a clear penalty system, right, for a person who refuses to adhere to the guidelines and causes disamenities to their neighbor. We have, just look at any sort of laws in an HDB, right? You're not supposed to clutter your corridor because it's a fire hazard, because it's an inconvenience, and it's not good, right? When you're maintaining
Blocked off,
neighborly relations. Yeah. You don't, do stupid things like hang dripping wet laundry and affect other people's laundry. There is civic mindedness in play, and the same should apply for all animal owners. Whether you're a dog owner, a cat owner, a hamster owner, it doesn't matter. The point is, do not cause an inconvenience to your neighbors.
Yeah.
Common sense and
Common
Exactly.
sense, that's all.
Yeah, there's so many irresponsible dog owners out there. I just want to say, I mean, I'm a dog owner, but sometimes I feel like beating them up. Okay, anyway, we'll go back on the radio.
I also feel like that sometimes.
Right?
don't beat people up.
Oh my goodness.
No violence.
No violence.
David Archuleta, Crush right here on Kiss 92. All the great songs in one place. Our guests for this morning, Thenuga Vijakumar, the president of the board at the Cat Welfare Society, as well as Theresa Go. Good morning, ladies, once again.
Good morning.
Good morning. So
We're just talking about irresponsible
pet owners.
Pet owners.
Yes.
And I'm just so angry right now because at the condo I stay, someone just got a big dog,
Okay.
right? And this dog is pooping all over the
Oh
place.
no.
And they're not picking it
And
up.
at night, people can't see, right? And so they're stepping
no.
on the poop.
Oh, no.
And there's poop everywhere.
Oh, no.
So today, I'm going to go to the estate manager.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm going to make a lot of noise. I went into the lift today, and there was pee in the lift.
Oh no.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
So this is someone new.
Yes.
You know, because a month ago, this wasn't happening.
Someone who's just moved in.
As in someone who just moved in.
Or just got the dog?
I think it's someone
Someone
new.
new,
Someone,
right, okay.
someone just moved in with his dog.
Yeah. Not very
horrible.
That's not
neighborly.
good.
Imagine, no, this morning at like, what time did I leave the house? About 5:15.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lift opens and there's pee in the lift.
Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible.
Anyway, I'm gonna get you.
Well,
if you're
that's
listening.
no, that's one of the main reasons that were cited as to why cats are banned in HDB flats, right? That they make a mess outside. But that boils down to, as we always say, upbringing by the parents.
But they
training.
won't do that though. Cats won't pee in the lift.
Well, cats may mark if they're unsterilized.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
I think the root of the issue is really the human being.
Yeah, that's
and
what-
and
yeah.
through our entire experience, the problem with any animal in Singapore is always the human being. Because
Yeah.
a cat's not going to know, oh, this is where I should not pee.
Yeah.
If they're not provided litter boxes in their homes, such a basic requirement,
yeah.
right? If they're not provided that, they're going to pee anywhere and everywhere.
Okay.
And similarly with the dog owner that you were talking about,
Yeah.
it's the dog's not going to know.
It's not a dog's fault.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
So we have to not vilify the animal for the mistakes of their owner,
Yes. Yeah.
just generally.
So we were asking this question to each other yesterday, I think. Do cats typically make a mess outside, or will they, say, leave the house and then come back to the litter box to do their business there? You know what I mean? If they've gone for a walk and, you know, they've strayed out of the house and stuff like that, do they automatically come back home?
Well, firstly,
If
most
they're
cats
trained?
don't stray out of the
Oh,
house.
they don't? Okay,
stay
sorry.
completely indoors.
Okay.
Just because, you know, you can't predict, right, whether that cat's really going to need a wee in the next 2 minutes or it's going to come back and,
Right,
and use
okay.
the
Yeah,
litter
yeah.
box. yeah.
Okay,
Or
okay.
it gets lost or it gets, you know, humped on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's what we've said is, you know, keep your cat strictly indoors. Obviously, aside from vet visits,
Yeah.
and ensure that you provide for all of their needs, including the toileting need. So provide litter boxes and use whatever substrate you need to. If a cat accidentally gets out, then yes, I think the litter box scent will help to bring them back. Like if they get really lost and can't identify, but that's, you know, in the extreme case of them getting lost. But
Right,
otherwise,
okay.
they should be kept strictly indoors.
Okay. Okay.
Which minister is in charge of all this?
Minister of Cats.
Yeah, I know.
Cats and dogs.
Who would be the minister of
who's
cats and
who's the
dogs
minister
and animals?
dealing with all this?
So there's several bodies involved.
Yeah.
I think SMS Tan has been the most. Who has been driving most of the change through AVS. You've got so many ministers who have been very supportive of our work. Lewis, Minister Desmond Lee. There are a lot of people who see from their own constituencies and constituents that responsible cat ownership is completely achievable and in fact is the norm. So they have no issue in being quite vocal in their support for such a thing. And so yeah, you see it at all layers. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Thenuga, and thank you, Theresa, for coming in this morning. It's been a pleasure. Anything you guys want us to put out, just get in touch with us.
Yeah. And if
Okay,
you,
we'll help you guys
if you
anytime.
if you want to find out more, it's catwelfare.org. All the information is online.
All right. Coming up very soon, headline news and sports. Up next, Bruno Mars on Kiss 92.
The Big